This is a test. This is a test of the Acoustic Homestead Project. This is only a test.
After I started picking up the guitar and learning that, that's when I realized that I want to make my own music.
And what it takes is dedication and hard work.
I love music. Always love music. All genres of music. It is my everyday.
Whether you're listening or playing, somebody can relate to something. And it's a feel-good thing for sure.
Hello and welcome to the AHP Studio Podcast, your very own music appreciation outlet for the Ozark region of the Midwest. Before we begin today's episode, I have a few events happening in the local music scene that I would like to announce. First off, tonight is Karaoke Night at the Park Hills Underground, hosted by our guest for today's episode, the Karaoke Queen. Mike goes live at 6 p.m. Next, Friday, May 2nd, Daphne Culver will be performing at the Sound Emporium Studio in Nashville, Tennessee at 5 p.m. May 3rd is a big day for the Tri-County area. First off, we have the 4th Annual Vintage Market on Main in beautiful Steelville, Missouri, hosted by the Steelville Tourism Committee. I'll be set up for the AHP studio to advertise and spread the word about music in the Ozarks, and hopefully, if I'm lucky enough, I'll be able to schedule a few interviews with some local musicians. Okay, next. Also, Travis Fadler will be performing at the main deck in Steelville as well, beginning at 1 p.m. Always a great show, so be sure and stop and say hello to John and Marilyn if you are in the area. ReelNoiz will be performing on stage at the Fredericktown Eagles Lodge in Missouri along with the Family Ties Band. The show begins at 8 p.m. and they plan to close the bar with a bang, so be sure to catch that show if you can. And last but not least, I am proud to announce that I will be performing at my favorite Mexican restaurant, Mr. Tequila, in Steelville, Missouri, for the Cinco de Mayo celebration from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. I hope to see a few familiar faces there, but it is going to be a big day for a lot of us. And we've all got business to take care of, so best of luck to everyone performing this weekend, and let's get this show started, eh? Today we have a special guest for my first official episode, Kristy Truskowski. You may know her as the Karaoke Queen of Park Hills, Missouri, and if so, I'm sure you've heard her belting it on stage solo as well as in the accompaniment of the local band ReelNoiz. And you can check her out as well as the band on Facebook. Okay, here we go. Hello, Kristy.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing great.
Awesome.
I'm glad we were able to get the cat out of here and figure all the
being a pain in the ass.
Recording issues. Hoping to get right into some conversation on early influences, if there was anybody maybe in your family and stuff like that that had any part on influencing you as a musician.
I would say I do not know of anybody in my family that was musical on either side, which is kind of funny because I'm very musical. My daughter's very musical. I did do a lot of church singing when I was a teenager, so influence-wise, I was probably where it started, and then when I figured out that, hey, I can sing. Hey, I like to do harmonies, and yeah, everybody knows how church music is all about harmonies and, singing together and worship and all that stuff. Not that I go to church now, but that was a big influence for me as a younger child. As far as into my later years, high school, obviously I was in choir, and seemed to be pretty good at it. Did some, small ensembles, things like that. And I obviously, as a person, thought that I was terrible and that I was not any good at it at all. I was in these things, but as far as people telling me, hey, gal, you really got some talent, and I'm like, do I? So confidence has always been an issue for me in anything that I do. Went to college and somebody said, hey, you should really go try out for a vocal scholarship. I'm like, I don't know. They're like, no, for real, I think that you might have a shot. I'm like, okay, I guess I'll give it a try. Dude, I got it. And I'm like, so my whole college was paid for just for singing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it gave me a little confidence there. And, and then actually it's so funny that after college, I didn't do nothing with music. I didn't play instruments. I didn't sing except in the car to the kids. I moved to California, just kind of did my thing out there for a while and come back to Missouri, about 10 years later with 2 kids in tow. And music was never an option. I don't know. I don't really know why I wasted 20 years and not pursued anything. And then my husband and I had actually met. We started kind of going out, to bars, and I started watching, people do karaoke, and I'm like, oh, I really want to do that. I would love to try that. Never sang karaoke before. I was enthralled with, I love music, always loved music, all genres of music. It is my everyday. I would rather listen to my Spotify playlist than watch TV. Like,
absolutely.
Would rather practice my piano or whatever, just something musically involved for me. We probably did this for 8 months, just going to bars, to karaoke bars. And, because back then that seemed to be what they were at every bar around here.
Right.
And he's like, you should really do it. And I'm like, I don't think so. I don't think I'm good enough to do that. He's like, no, no, I think you'd be great at it. And I'm like, man, I don't know. These people are really good, and just the confidence again, and just having the courage to do it.
Yes.
A couple of drinks in, and I still wouldn't get up there and do it. So I don't know. It was probably 8 months later where it bottoms up. I don't know if you ever remember that bar around here.
Yes.
And I'm like, I'm going to do it. And he's like, good, what are you going to do? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, how about some Lady Gaga? Why on earth my first karaoke song was such a big song that I have no idea. And it's such a funny story because I was petrified. And looking back, I'm like, why did I do Lady Gaga? Of all the things I could have done, Lady Gaga was the one that I did. You and I don't know if you're familiar with that song. It will be forever ingrained in my brain from now on. But I get up there and I start singing, and I did well. I mean, obviously I did well. And the DJ looks at me and he's like, what the fuck just happened? And I'm like, and I just run off the stage. And I go sit down. Because, everybody was just like, what the hell? Like, they were kind of like, I don't even know what is happening. And my husband was like, golly, girl, that shit was good. And I'm like, oh, God. And my heart's just pounding. I mean, just like, I could see it coming out of my shirt. And everybody's like, oh, my God, are you going to sing another one? And I'm like, I only have one song.
Oh,
Geez. Anyway, so then it was all downhill from there. Like, you couldn't get me off the stage.
Right.
So then I found a passion. I really enjoyed it, and I love singing. I love singing all genres, and so that's kind of where up fast forward to me being in a band now. But
sorry, Bottoms Up is actually where I met you.
Yes.
And I did some karaoke there with you, and then shortly after, my grandma did a karaoke in her garage for her birthday.
Yes.
And that's where we met, when I did a song on stage, and you were like, hey, you should come out to the backyard bar and do some karaoke with us. And then we did that for a while, and that was fun.
Yeah, no, everybody always loves coming out here, and it's funny that, I started just singing, and now I have like a whole shop set up to karaoke, and, and I run karaoke now, and, I love influencing younger people who just have a natural talent. I love to just mentor that, and I want people to be happy. I want them to have the confidence, and that's the biggest thing that I love about running karaoke. I don't really care for the drunk bitches that much. They're like, hey, you didn't get my song right.
Yeah.
Like, calm down. It's karaoke. I get it. Calm down. But, my favorite part is young kids that come and sing with me. I mean, I've had as young as 4 come and sing some Moana or Let It Go. But they are just enthralled by the experience and the stage and, just that confidence they have in themselves, and that kind of stuff resonates in everything else they do.
Right.
And that's why I love music, because music just resonates with people and it makes people feel something, and I love doing a song where people are like, oh, man, that brings back so many memories for me. So it's very important to me that I'm always doing things correctly, I'm
Right.
kind of a technical person, but
I get a little bit, I don't know if you want to call it OCD or anal about things when I'm a bit of a perfectionist on learning other people's songs.
yes.
And I've come to realize, so my stage confidence also came from karaoke, 100%. When I started doing karaoke in the bars and coming out here with you, I started really finding my full voice. And I have a bad habit of mimicking artists.
Right.
So nowadays I'm trying to really come to terms with what my voice sounds like.
Like,
instead
who's
of-
Richard?
Yeah.
I don't want to hear this guy. I want to hear what you can do with this song.
Right.
Right.
And make it original
Right.
instead of making it such a
Carbon
formal
copy.
cover. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
No, it's cool. And I love that, and that's a lot of what I like about karaoke is because I may be covering other people's song, but it's 100% Kristy. There's no, I may have did a Lady Gaga song, but I did it Kristy Gaga. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think that's what people really resonate whenever they listen to me sing, is that everything that I do is got me in it. Because I don't want to be Lady Gaga, and I don't want to be Katie Osland, and I don't want to be these artists. I want to be Kristy.
Right.
So I try to, that's the biggest thing that I wish people would understand when they do karaoke. And that's okay. If you're just doing it for fun or whatever, hey, kudos to you. I love that for you. I hope that, you rock it out, because everybody's a rock star.
Right.
Biggest thing with me is I want people to have the confidence to do it, because that confidence carries over in so many other things in your life. You can get on a stage and sing in front of 50 people, a song that somebody wrote 10 years ago, and pull it out and people are clapping, and that just gives you such an energy rush.
It does.
And it makes your whole day so much better. Even if you're not that good, I don't care if you can sing. If you put on a show for me, I'm here for it. You know what I mean? I've seen some really bad singers, but their performances made it 100% great.
Right.
So you don't have to be a great singer to enjoy karaoke by any means.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, the stage confidence comes with time, and then some people just have natural, I don't give a fuck energy.
Right.
So
I wish
they're
I
just-
was one of those people. I am not one of those people.
I know. I get really blocky on stage sometimes, and I was at the point where I had to have a drink before I go up. So now playing sober is a whole different experience. And so it's more I'm learning all over again how to be on stage confidently. And
Right.
That's where I'm taking a step back now.
Well, and it's all just about finding the confidence again, because, alcohol does give you that fake confidence.
Yeah.
And I feel like sometimes people will be so drunk on karaoke, and then it's almost like, okay, probably need to, they're slobbering around, spilling their beer. And I'm like, I don't want karaoke to have that stigma, because it is a platform for people to show their talent, to
Right.
perform their talent. They may not have opportunities to be in bands. They may not know people. It's a way for them to connect. And
previously, it's never been looked at as a form that way. It's been
No.
just looked at as a fun, let's get drunk and fuck around on the microphone
Right.
at the bar.
But I think as time has progressed, karaoke is not that anymore. You know what I mean? Yes, the stigma still is drunk karaoke.
Right.
But a lot of people come now because there are some really good singers.
Yes.
I mean, some good performers. I mean, even my own karaoke show at the Park Hills Underground, I got some great singers.
Yes.
I mean, and they come in, just maybe some random person is like, oh, I heard about, open mic tonight. Oh, you got karaoke? Oh, I'm going to stay for karaoke. And they get me, I'm like, holy shit, where'd you come from?
Right.
Golly, you're good, and again, if it wasn't for the Park Hills Underground, those people wouldn't have a place,
Right.
to perform their talents at open mic, to come in and play their guitars or do their comedy or whatever it is that their talent is. And I've seen some great performances at open mic where I'm like, man, like Ryan Sells, first time I ever saw him was at open mic.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn, that boy can play really fast.
Yes.
He is a phenomenal guitar player.
Yes.
But yeah, he was one of my first times with him. And even the people in my band, ReelNoiz, we're kind of new. We've been together a little over a year. I met them all at the Underground.
Right.
And we all just kind of formed this connection. And they're like, hey, you can sing. Hey, you really rip on that guitar. And they're like, hey, we should have a jam at my house. And they're like, okay, cool. So we started having jams. And now here we are, 1,300 followers strong on Facebook with gigs.
Heck yeah.
And it's just cool.
That's awesome.
Would I think 5 years ago I'd be where I'm at? No, not at all.
It's
I mean,
insane
yes.
how time goes and how connections in the universe happen. And once you get into that realm of music, the expansion of your connections with other people is so much.
Yeah, like we were talking about earlier. Like I met two guys from St. Charles who were badass, country players, and they were cool and just ripping it on guitar and playing harp. And it was would I have ever met them 5 years ago? Probably not.
Right.
And my biggest thing is I like to tell people is I don't care how old you are. If you want to do it, do it. All this journey stuff for me didn't start till 5 years ago. 5 years ago, I literally worked at my job that I wanted to shoot myself every day. I got to change. I need to do something that's going to make me happy for a change.
Right.
So luckily enough, karaoke it was. And then, now I'm just like, it's my job.
Yeah.
It's my job.
Yeah, dude. And it's awesome because that's when you find a place for a career like that truly makes you happy because you're doing something that you love to do. It's not even a job anymore. It's just your life, and you get to be happy, and that's how everybody should be. If we were all lucky enough to be able to find something that we love to do and be good enough at it that we can make money off of it, then we just get to live the rest of our lives.
Yeah, that's kind of where our band's at. Like we don't want money. Like we just love to do it. Like that's what we want to do. We want to entertain. We want to show our talents. We want people to dance. We want people to sing along with us. Like, that's what we're in it for. Once it starts becoming a job, then it's no fun.
Yeah.
Now it's, to this point now, we don't book a lot of gigs because we don't want burnout. Which, I feel really bad because there's a lot of musicians that are really getting burnt out. They're just overworking themselves and forgetting why.
Yes.
They are in music.
That was exactly where I was at last year. I was burning myself out and just like, I need this extra money, so I need to keep doing this. I need this money. I need to keep doing this. And I didn't have the passion anymore. And like I said, I started drinking a little bit more often during performances and not caring so much about my performance. And that just shows on stage, and it really changes.
When people can't connect to that.
Right. It changes the audience's perspective
Right.
of you as well. And I was trying, really hard to gain a good
Following.
Yes, a good following. So now I'm just trying to reestablish that in myself and be a better musician and be more focused on the music and take these interviews with everybody that I'm talking to, like you, as more inspiration to keep me in the field that I love.
That's cool. Yeah, well, thank you for having me. I do appreciate it. Yeah, I
Yeah.
was like, oh, wow, my first podcast interview. That's awesome.
Oh, this is your first?
Well, I kind of did one with the Tippy Joe show,
Okay.
but it was more not music-based.
Okay.
It was something else. But so, yeah, no, music, man. We'll sit here all day and talk about music.
I know. I'm hoping to actually get to talk to you again maybe in 6 months or so and see where you're at and what's going on with you.
Yeah, maybe we can get some of the band members in here.
That would
and
be
we'll just have
awesome.
like a little chat.
Yeah, we can have a group session. I can get multiple mics on here and everything.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, you probably really like those guys. I don't know if you've really met them. You've probably seen them.
I've watched a couple of the videos on Facebook, and I know Tom. I've known Tom for a few
Well, everybody
years.
knows
Yeah,
Tom.
I love Tom. I can't wait to get to talk to him today.
Yeah, it'll be fun. Yeah, he's a good guy. Just got elected councilman in Park Hills.
Oh, he
and-
did get the job?
Yeah,
That's
he did. He was so
awesome.
excited he got the call out here at band practice. He's like, okay, well, I don't know how much time I'm going to have to be in the band because I'm a big city wig now. I'm like, don't be saying that shit now, Tom. We need a drummer, and he's really good at what he does.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, that's cool.
All right. Well, thank you so much for talking to me.
Yeah.
All right. All right, guys, thanks again for listening. That was Kristy Truskowski here on the AHP Studio podcast. It was pretty cool to find out that she actually had a music scholarship and then just didn't do much with that. And then now all of a sudden she's doing everything with music, and that's her whole life. And it's a pretty beautiful thing, I think. Music is something that brings everybody together, and it's one of those like pipe dreams for so many kids to say like, I want to be a rock star or whatever, but then you get into a 9 to 5, and then life happens, and all of a sudden you're 40 years old and you're like, what happened to my rock star dream? Maybe I should get back into that before I go crazy or something. Anyway, thank you guys for listening, and stay in the loop. That's fucking rap, dude. That's a fucking rap.